Okay, welcome back to yet another week, another conversation. This has been an interesting week in many ways. A friend of mine just raised the fact about our party, Jubilee. And the fights it's been having, the press conferences that were done this week, one by Kandini Kega and the parliamentary group, one by Kioni and the other team that he's with, that's primarily seen in Azimio meetings. And as a Jubilee member, I am actually not sure what's the way forward for our party. One of the things I do know is that there's something that needs to change in how our party operates. I have said this consistently from before the last election. The reason we did so dismally is because of certain things that we did not change. I have paperwork over paperwork over paperwork of reports we did to the party leader and to leadership of the party about changes that we needed to see in the party. And where we are right now, without going back into the past, where we have Kioni with a team of members of Jubilee, none of who is actually elected in parliament at the moment. And then we have Kanini with the elected members of Jubilee, people who are in office, fighting each other. It's not a good thing. Very, very, in all honesty, it doesn't matter who wins that fight. Whether Kanini wins, whether Kioni wins, the party is losing. And that, since we're having dialogue, we're having dialogue even at national level, sometimes I want to suggest that maybe it's time that these two groups sat down and had bipartisan conversations. Because this is not helping our party at all. This is not doing it's doing a lot of discredit to our party leader, the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. We can't have his people who are associated with him, who are known to be close to him, who work closely with him, fighting each other in public. I don't understand, again, my usual theme of why they cannot go behind the tent and sit down. Why can't the two teams sit down? Kioni pick a couple of people, Kanini pick a couple of people, go sit down and figure out what is the best way forward for the party. If we need to have a conversation, because for example, yes, I know Kioni is insisting we're in Azimio, but what does it mean? When he says that Jubilee Party is in Azimio and none of the elected members of Jubilee are actually working with Azimio in parliament, what does that mean? Because the only way you can say you're with Azimio is if you are voting with Azimio in parliament. If Jubilee is not voting with Azimio in parliament, I don't know what it means to say that you're with Azimio. So maybe it's time for a conversation. Maybe Kioni needs to listen to the guys who are in parliament and find out why aren't you guys working with Azimio in parliament. I am sure if these two teams sit together, they will find a way forward that is going to work and build our party. That would be my urge to my friends and my brothers, people who worked very closely together, both Jeremiah Kioni, the SG of the Jubilee Party, and my cousin Kandini Kega. I hope they're going to listen, and I hope they're going to sit down and do something about this party of ours. But let me move forward to something else that is also very critical to the Mount Kenya community, and this is the one man, one vote, 1 shilling. We have made it a phrase. We've made it a slogan. It's a catchphrase. It's something we use consistently. I want to first congratulate my friend Gadoni Mushoba, Member of Parliament for Githunguri, for actually taking a step to start building up a conversation in Parliament about one man, one vote, 1 shilling. The only challenge is that I know it's going to face a lot of resistance in Parliament because just of how already there's an equal representation. There's already a problem with the one man, one vote in Parliament. So if you're going to take this conversation, she's going to face a lot of resistance because the vote is not balanced in Parliament, and which is what this whole idea is trying to do. When we got into Parliament in 2017, 2018, we started having this conversation about one man, one vote, 1 shilling. And for Mount Kenya, and in even Western Province, Nyanza, this is a critical conversation because this is what happens. When you live in a country where some people look like they are being able to deliver more for their voters than you are, you tend to be judged on delivery and you look like you cannot deliver the way you're supposed to. And that is why, for example, during my term, we gave 40,000 bursaries over 5 years. And our bursaries range from 10,000 shillings for university students, 7,000 shillings for college students. We gave 5,000 shillings to boarding schools, and we gave 2,000 shillings to day schools. And we would give 8,000, 10,000 applications. Every person who applied, we made sure they got. All indications are that the person who took over from me is not going to even be able to do that well. The numbers increase. You need to have put a lot of effort into thinking through how you're going to give these bursaries. I had a very good team that put in quite a bit of work into this bursary allocation process. Despite that, we were still doing very badly as compared to our brothers and sisters from some parts of the country who were able to give the students 100,000, 50,000, who were able to pay their whole school fees. You know, you could take a student and pay their whole school fees. And you all come from this country. And there's nothing as dangerous as unequal access to education. Because you don't tell the effect now. You tell the effect in 5 years, in 10 years. When you have a population from one side of the country that is not educated, that doesn't have an impact on education, and then you have a population from another part of the country that is very focused and very educated, and they are working and competing for the same opportunities in the country. So this idea of one man, one vote, one shilling means exactly that. First, we equalize the vote, so that the weight of one vote is equal to the weight of another vote. And I know in another year or so, we're going to be having a conversation about boundaries for constituencies and for counties. I want to urge the leadership in our region to put aside, as always, put aside the differences and focus, because this comes back to haunt you during the next election. When you say one man, one shilling, we want the shilling, we want the effect of the money that is collected by government to be distributed evenly, so that whether I live in Nyeri, or I live in Garissa, or I live in Wajir, or I live in Kisumu, or I live in Bungoma, what I get from government should be equitable, also based on the circumstances and the environment in which I live in. Some places, of course, are more developed than others, and that is supposed to be taken into consideration, and that's why we have an equalization fund. But in terms of the fact that you're collecting taxes and then distributing it back, I need to feel that there's no need for me to move to a particular part of the country so that I can get more bursary, or I can get better healthcare services, or I can get better education, or I can get better infrastructure. So I want to urge my brothers and sisters from Mount Kenya region, again, please pick up this ball and don't drop it. We did our part. We tried as much as we could. We pushed BBI as far as we did. The court stopped it. I hope this particular team is going to come up with their own idea of how to get that one man, one vote, one shilling delivered. Because the longer we take, we're going to keep doing this every 5 years. And at a certain point, people will just get used to tukae vile tuko. And it's going to be very unfair for us. My final point today, again, I want to go back to unity. Last week, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua had a meeting with the members of parliament, senators, and governors in Nyeri. Brought them together, and they had a conversation about an issue that is prevalent in our region. And I want to say kudos. That is a powerful, powerful thing. Because sometimes we keep talking about unity. We cannot unite for the sake of it. But uniting to fight illicit alcohol, to fight the drug menace that is plaguing our people in our region is powerful. It's powerful. I'm sure Rigathi is going to get attacked as usual from other parts of the country, because it's going to look like he's just focusing on Mount Kenya. But I'm sure he's also going to do a few things in other parts of the country. And every part of the country has an issue that they want to be dealt with. For us, I'm happy by the fact that he has been able to unite our elected members of parliament, our elected senators, our elected governors around the issue of fighting illicit alcohol and drug menace. And I know that a week later this week, this just past week, he also had a meeting with all elected members of the county assembly and the nominated MCAs from our region. Powerful. In 2 weeks, it means he's met with all the political leadership of our region. Now I want to urge him to take us to go a step further and meet with the business leaders and the church leaders from our region and continue this conversation. This fight against illicit alcohol, against drugs, is not going to be fought by only one arm of government. Remember, by one arm of society. Remember, we say that there are 3 pillars in society. We have a political pillar, we have an economic pillar, and we have a social pillar. The political pillar is led by the political leadership. The economic pillar is led by the business leadership. The social pillar primarily, especially in our region, is led by the religious leaders. So get all these people plugged in. I want to urge Rigathi Gachagua, please call a meeting for the business community. Simple thing. Have a conversation with them about how we're going to fight drugs and how we're going to fight illicit alcohol. Once you're done with that, have a conversation with the religious leadership. Once you do that, you're going to have brought the entire region around the need to fight against illicit alcohol and drugs. And that is going to be a powerful, powerful thing. So I wish you all the best, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. I remind those who are in political leadership today on the issue of 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. And again, my message to my brothers Kioni and Kanini, please call a bipartisan dialogue for Jubilee Party. Let's sort this fight. We can't keep fighting in public. Let's solve it once and for all. Thank you very much. As usual, sisi tuko hapa Ruare. We keep doing our thing. Chai na mandazi, we do brilliant chai, brilliant mandazi. And I want to appreciate all the people who are giving us reviews online and to friends. We are seeing and we are feeling you, and we're really, really glad. Step in, nyama choma, step in for some pilau. Let's grow this country together. So God bless you. God bless Kenya. Asanteni sana.